Hello everyone, and welcome to my B&B Gossips update channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Thomas the troublemaker is not done. Hope and Liam's next marriage threat? Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful suggest that Hope Logan Spencer and Liam Spencer could have to be on the lookout for a well-known danger to their romance. Since Thomas Forrester is still associated with Hope for the future, he might still pose a threat to Liam and Hope. Since Thomas's return to her line meant working with her ex and cost Deke Sharp his job, Hope wasn't overly excited. But whether Hope agreed or not, Steffi Forrester Finnegan maintained that Thomas was returning. Of course, since Thomas primarily works remotely from Paris, Hope's situation has generally gone smoothly. Thomas chose to just go to Los Angeles whenever he is needed in person rather than uproot Douglas Forrester from his life there. However, there may still be some troublemaker Thomas news to come, particularly as Hope for the future's upcoming fashion show approaches. Thomas might decide to spend more time in Los Angeles as a result, or he might even insist that Hope take a plane to Paris. With new designs, meetings, and events, we could definitely see Thomas attempting to get back in touch with Hope. Given that he has previously used his son to strengthen his relationship with Hope, Thomas may also set aside some time for the family to spend together. Thomas ended his engagement to Paris Buckingham, so if he hasn't found someone else or sorted things out with her, he must be lonely. Thomas's likelihood of going into a negative mental state increases with his level of loneliness. It would be easy for Thomas to fall in love with Hope once more and conclude that letting her go was a mistake. When Hope was delaying their engagement, Thomas might get obsessed with what might have happened if he had been patient. Thomas may choose to approach Hope or use his repertoire of cunning tactics. If it occurs, will Hope become enmeshed in her past love affair with Thomas? Will Hope choose to be faithful to Liam instead? Thomas's desire for Hope's return and his attempt to influence her relationship with Liam might lead to a lot of drama. So watch to see if the writers decide to go that path. After the fashion house collapse, is Katie thinking about getting a divorce? According to previews and updates for The Bold and the Beautiful, Katie Logan Spencer and Bill Spencer may soon face serious difficulties. Could Bill and Katie's marriage collapse at the same time that the fashion house he gave her as a wedding present starts to break apart? Bill pushed Katie to embrace a better future and suggested an exciting new fashion business shortly after they exchanged vows. Bill's grandiose plans for their future together, which evidently included this fresh start for her at Logan, captured Katie's attention. But it appears like Katie's fashion house may fail before it had a chance to really take off. Eric Forrester has made the decision to rejoin Forrester Creations, despite having previously pledged to help Katie launch an exceptional first collection. This could also lead to a blame game between Bill and Katie if Logan ends up with a terrible outcome. Bill may finally vent his frustration by saying that Katie should never have recruited Eric in the first place, implying that he was certain to turn on them. Katie could, of course, reverse this and blame Bill responsible for giving her the confidence that she could handle this endeavor. Both parties may get increasingly resentful as a result of this circumstance, which could endanger their marriage. After all, Katie married Bill and reunited with him in an unusually short period of time. Katie may feel guilty about rushing back into marriage with Bill when their relationship encounters another obstacle. If Katie starts blaming Bill for her tense relationship with Brooke Logan Forrester and all the family strife this fashion firm has generated, this sentiment becomes even more apparent. Katie might eventually wonder if she and Brooke would still be together if she hadn't remarried Bill and gotten that unfortunate wedding present. That being said, depending on the course of their plot, Bill and Katie's relationship may potentially be in jeopardy. Although there will always be some residual love between Katie and Bill, it might not be enough to keep their romance going. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Bill and Katie will probably have even more difficulties in the future, so keep an eye out. Daphne is ensnared by Ivy's evil scheme. According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Ivy is doing something really horrible with a witness. Poison Ivy Forrester is adamantly opposed to Elektra Forrester and Will Spencer being together. She has been trying to convince Elektra that Will is not a suitable fit for her for months. But she also started acting strangely when she saw Will with Dylan, a homeless girl who danced ballet but with whom he had no relationship. To ensure that Will wouldn't turn up, Ivy intercepted the letter that Elektra wrote to him requesting him to meet her in the showroom. She is now prepared to implement another aspect of her strategy. She is unaware that someone has a peek of everything. When Daphne Rose witnesses Ivy acting inappropriately, she questions what the devil is actually up to. Daphne and Carter Walton had already witnessed Will's dejection when he believed he had lost Electra forever. What does Daphne see then? Does Ivy get caught after burning the letter? Is she going to properly warn Daphne? When Will notices that Electra has moved on quickly, he can hardly believe what he is seeing. She had already planted a kiss on her own cousin, R.J. Forrester. If Electra could move on from him so quickly and kiss someone else just hours after their formal breakup, perhaps she isn't the girl Will always believed her to be. Was Electra simply anticipating this opportunity? Did she overreact to the Dylan scenario because of this? After spending more time alone with RJ, Electra breaks some startling news to her kissing cousin. Is RJ now aware that the girl he ran into a few weeks ago is the homeless woman Electra intended to dump on the streets? That could make RJ realize how self-centered Electra is as a young lady. It's possible that more boys are interested in Dylan than she ever thought. Sheila's unexpected turn, Deacon and Taylor taken by surprise? According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila Carter Sharp is being duped and betrayed. Despite her vow to abstain, Taylor Hayes' inability to stop treating her patient is evident. Could there be a surprising turn of events when the waitress eventually finds out? Let's investigate the options by continuing to read. Let's begin by discussing Sheila's failing marriage. Deacon Sharp didn't know if he could trust Sheila, so he started therapy. Sheila believed Taylor had rescued her marriage when Deacon came back to her. Fans are aware, though, that Deacon and Taylor became closer the more time they spent together. The L word is coming up shortly in my opinion, but soap operas move at a different speed than the rest of us. The beginning of Deacon's therapy was very harmless. Deacon then began to consider Taylor to be a close buddy. Then all of a sudden it became a crazy crush. Taylor first made an effort to act professionally, but her emotions quickly took over her thoughts. Deacon continues to go home every night and act as like nothing is wrong in spite of everything. Sheila observes only one difference. Deacon gives Taylor a lot of thought. In addition, Deacon has begun to turn down Sheila's love approaches. That is never a positive indication. Sheila is fortunate to have Lee Finnegan as a confidant. Sheila may have exploded long ago if Lee hadn't been present. Lee is the reason Sheila has faith in Deacon and Taylor. Even Lee, though, is unaware of what actually occurs behind closed doors, but she will eventually learn. Taylor did make a commitment to avoid Deacon. Fans are aware, though, that Deacon and Taylor can't maintain that for very long. Whether it makes sense to fans, their attraction is too great for one another. According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila still seems to believe that Taylor saved her marriage. But Sheila organized a romantic evening for her husband in the middle. Deacon claimed he didn't feel like it at that point. Sheila handled it well, but I wonder whether she's beginning to suspect something. Sheila's tactic includes keeping her knowledge a secret. Could Sheila be cooperating until she receives evidence? This has persisted for a long time. Sheila may have already acted by the time Deacon eventually reveals the truth. I'm not referring to assault or even murder. What happens if Sheila manages to take over Deacon's finances and businesses? Keep in mind that he is attempting to grow, so losing everything at this time would be disastrous. He deserves it for being so deceitful. 3 bad business choices made by Katie could have an impact on Logan's future. Bill discovered that Eric had not signed a formal employment contract with Katie. On precarious ground, she is already constructing a fashion house. Consequently, since Eric is departing voluntarily, they are unable to sue him. The Logan brand has no legal claim to his sketches in the absence of a formal contract. Katie might end up with a backlog of designs that she isn't legally the owner of if Eric decides to leave permanently. But since they've already paid him, Katie and Bill are thinking of utilizing his plans. Lead designers are only one aspect of a fashion house. Junior designers, pattern makers, and drapers make up this ecosystem. Katie put all the pressure on one man because she didn't have a committed team. Despite being a renowned fashion designer, Eric is only one person. As viewers have previously seen, the brand's output is sluggish and uneven in the absence of a team to turn his idea into a complete collection. Bill expressed to Eric his unrealistic desire for the first collection to be released as soon as feasible. The fact that couture takes time was lost on him. Logan is vulnerable to failure because it lacks a coherent design architecture. Logan has no one else to continue the collection in the event that Eric becomes unwell. Due to this, the company's debut is susceptible to production problems and missed deadlines. Katie's decision to give Bill the last word on Eric's creative output is the most perplexing. Bill is not well known for high fashion, but rather for managing Spencer Publications. Instead of focusing on art or fashion, he views the world through the prism of return on investment and the bottom line. It is a surefire formula for catastrophe to let an outsider take precedence over the chief designer. A poisonous power dynamic was already established by this. Bill couldn't appreciate Eric's artistic integrity, and Eric probably wouldn't have liked following his instructions. All he wanted were mass-produced gowns. Not much more. Before Logan's first runway presentation, Katie brought a wolf into the atelier, which would have caused an ego conflict that could have ruined the brand. Loyalty and personal relationships were more important to Katie than professional norms. These three errors have the potential to ruin the Logan brand in the competitive fashion market of Los Angeles. Will Eric's designs be stealed by Katie? After being disappointed by the loss of Eric as Logan's lead designer, Bill and Katie rejoined Spencer Publications. What they were going to do frightened Katie. "I'll figure it out," Bill promised his wife. Katie questioned whether her fashion house's success was finished. Katie was reassured by Bill that it was far from finished. He had a scheme. Bill maintained that a launch would still take place. He was certain that Eric wouldn't want the media to disparage his name. However, he subsequently discovered that Eric had never signed a contract. Katie assumed that meant they couldn't file a lawsuit, but that wasn't always the case. According to Katie, Eric is very important to her. He had made the decision to go back to Forrester Creations, so she didn't want to fight him. However, Bill maintained that these concepts ultimately belonged to Logan. Katie has no desire to fight Brooke or Eric. She has already experienced a great deal with her sister. She apologizes if their relationship was harmed by this launch. Bill questioned his wife about giving up. Katie acknowledged that she was reluctant to quit up. She wanted precisely these designs. According to Bill, they already have their designs. Eric created the drawings for them, and he compensated him. As a result, they had legal ownership of the designs. They could do with them whatever they pleased. However, Katie pondered the possible effects on Brooke. Forrester Creations might still sue Bill and Katie for utilizing Eric's designs, which is the direct result of this catastrophe. Now that Eric appears to be returning to work for Forrester Creations, it will be intriguing to watch how this plot develops. For his upcoming collection, he may wish to utilize his present designs. However, Bill and Katie would refuse to use the designs he came up with. After all, there was a verbal agreement between Eric and Katie. He made designs specifically for Logan. The sketches are with them. Bill believes the designs belong to them because of this. Will Eric Forrester's ideas be released by Logan and Forrester Creations separately? Will those designs take them to court? Who is going to prevail in this battle?